Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do.
Just what to do, just what to do.
If what you're feeling is really true.
Is really true, is it really true?
Just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geri Petito Show. Everyone and anyone who knows me knows I am the author of I'm Not an Addict, I'm Just an Ass. I'd rather be a smartass than a dumbass. Because, guys, almost 34 years ago, I was a dumbass. But today, 34 years later, through the grace of God, I can honestly say now I'm a smartass. Yes, the word ass is in the Bible at least 40 times, and it means donkey, and that's what I was. I'm saying all that to say this. There are a lot of people out there struggling. I'm a nutritional health coach. I'm a recovery coach. All my services to you are free. Please, please reach out. If anyone thinks my book can help you, help someone, I sure do. You can go right to Simon & Schuster's bookstore, Archway Publishing, BAM, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. You can go to my website, www.geripetito.com. And my book is now on audio, guys, and you can get that through my website. And guess what? It has my voice. My producer, Ruben Rodriguez of Iron Horse Films and Hamilton Radio, is now putting books to audio. If you're interested, get in touch with me. Simon & Schuster wanted to do audio on my book, but they wanted to use someone else's voice, and I thought that couldn't happen. This is my story, so it had to be me reading it. Okay, guys, so reach out. Now, I want to give a shout out to just a couple sponsors before I introduce my incredible guest. Okay, first I have Johnny Bishop, a.k.a. Johnny B., singer-songwriter, host of the Entertainment Luncheon South, a nonprofit network created for the creative. Okay, Facebook group page, Entertainment Luncheon South, partner in the Joey D. and Johnny B. Oldies Rockin' Band. Now, I want to give a shout out to him and his wife because Linny and him put on this special entertainment luncheon once a month. And guys, they don't keep a penny of the money. It's $20. You get a great lunch and you get entertainment. And what they do is unbelievable, all right? So I want to say thank you to them for that. And it's by invite only. If you mention my name, they might let you in. So anyway, reach out to me if you're interested in that, okay? And what they do for us is unbelievable. Like, they're going to share this show. They put my stuff everywhere, and they share everybody's stuff, and they're just unbelievable. So I want to say thank you to both of them again. Then I've got Paula Ann from Ablaze Entertainment and Freedom Rings Festival, helping survivors of human trafficking to live a life of normalcy. And, you know, www.freedomringsfestival.com, please, please check it out. What she does is unbelievable. Then I've got Stormin Norman Selden, www.stormandnormanselden.com, booking dozens of attractions for concerts and performances on venues of all sizes. He's got from a 5 to 12-piece band. He is a monster on the keyboard. He was here live in studio recently. He's unbelievable. What he's doing now for seniors is, if you're stuck at home, you know, you're bored, he's now teaching keyboard lessons for seniors. A lot of people didn't know this, but he helped get Larry Chance from the Earls, the song Remember Then. He helped get Larry Chance started back then. Amazing. Then we've got Michael Zanman, singer, songwriter, entertainer, performer, www.mzanman.com. So Michael Zanman, he is such a cool entertainer, all right? And you'll be cracking up, laughing while you're watching him entertain and loving his songs. He's unbelievable. I want to share a special story about him. He put out him singing Mel Carter's song, Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, recently on Facebook. Well, guess what? I sent it to my buddy Mel. And Mel called me, and he's like, Jer, he's singing it great. I said, would you tell him? We got Zanman on a surprise three-way, and Mel Carter himself told him he loved what he did with his song. Guys, keep Mel Carter in prayer, okay? He was in the hospital, and I'm not sure. We haven't heard from him, so please, please keep him in prayer. Then I've got John Monforto, the man of many faces. I actually named him that. Singer, actor, celebrity impersonator, and tribute artist. And he was given the title by a former Philadelphia mayor as the official Philadelphia Rocky impersonator. www.johnmonforto.com. He is Rocky. He does over 30. He's incredible with every one of them. My three favorites, of course, Rocky, The Godfather, and of course Elvis. Thank you. Thank you very much. And then we've got Michael D'Amore. Singer, songwriter, performer, entertainer, www.michaeldamore.com. Now, I've never really said this about any other singer, okay, except one other, and I'll share that in a minute. But I'm a huge Elvis fan. Nobody can top Elvis in my book, right? He's up here. Forget it. Michael D'Amore comes very close. That's how good this guy is, so check him out, all right? But Carter Rubin, who won The Voice, he was the youngest male who won The Voice. We're all like family, and Michael's a good friend of his family as well. And his grandfather, Rick Mango, who was part of Jay and the Americans, got me his first interview. It was amazing. And I actually booted Michael down one and put his grandson under Elvis, and the Michael got booted down one, okay? So Carter Rubin, amazing, okay? Now, these three guys, I was honored in emceeing for Let East the last couple of years with Michael Zanman opening up for Michael D'Amore, and then we got John Monforto into the mix last year, so it was great, incredible, okay? Last but certainly not least, Ken Ryan and Linda Garofalo, The Way It Used to Be, singing songs from the 50s to the 80s, a tribute show to the greatest music and voices of all time. And Ken also sings Elvis for me, baby. Thank you very much. So there you have it, all right? I had to give you some of that. So now I want to introduce my incredible guest. I don't want to mess up his full name. Actually, I'm going to let him properly introduce himself. So please go ahead.
How you doing, everybody? My name is LADARO Pennnix II, and I'm here on this extraordinary platform with Geri, and I'm looking forward to giving you guys my story.
So, first of all, I am so honored that you not only said yes and that you're doing this for me, so is my producer, all right? Because let's give a shout out to Dr. Chinchilla J, okay?
Amen.
She's our connection. She's on WBNN, the Beverly Nations platform, where I also have a platform. And she's been our commissioner, and she just stepped down now, and we have Sister Bessie taking her place. But I promote her show, she promotes mine, and I called in a few times, and of course, I heard you, and it was the third time that I heard you where I heard God's voice say, call him. And I knew I had to. And here we are today. Your story is so unbelievable, okay? It's probably one of the most fascinating stories I've ever heard. And guys, I want to just tell you something. This guy, when you hear his story, okay, he's in jail. He's been in jail for a very long time. He's going to tell the story. He's done more behind bars than most people have done who have not been behind bars. And guess what? We're trying to get him out, and he's probably going to be out soon, and I cannot wait. So now I want to give you the mic, and I want you to tell your story.
Okay, well, I grew up in Long Beach, California, and I grew up at a time that it was very violent and very disturbing and very disruptive. You know, I grew up in a home that was very violent.
Okay.
To the point to where I would get beat. I was molested. I was everything under the sun. And so I felt weak in the home. I didn't feel like I was safe in my home. You know, my father was very abusive and a very sick man. Because of that, I searched for the streets for an identity. I looked for some type of understanding of who I was, because I understood that in the streets, I seemed to be someone that was respected, that was looked at of value, whereas in the home, I was looked at as a punching bag, as an object, if you will, to do as you will. And so I turned to the streets. Growing up in my neighborhood, we were kids, going to school. I dealt with the bullies and dealt with, people that were tougher than me. And for me, fighting them and beating them were a way of me beating my father, if you will, because I couldn't beat my father.
Yes.
I couldn't protect my mother. And so I projected all that energy onto the streets. Well, later on in my life, in my teenage years, I end up being amongst elder individuals who influence the behavior, and I end up taking some lives.
1 second. I hate interrupting. How old were you when you were in your first gang?
I was only in one gang, and that was when I was 11 years old. I got jumped in at 11.
Wow. You mentioned one more thing, that you were also sexually abused, if I can ask, and if you don't want to answer it, it's okay.
Absolutely.
Was it by your
Absolutely.
father? Was it by your
It
father?
was by my father.
Okay,
It was by my father.
Continue.
And so when I got jumped in that gang, initially I was just a regular kid, who just wanted to be amongst common individuals who understood my pain.
Yeah.
Because most individuals who are in gangs, especially children, we all suffer from some type of abuse. And so we relate to each other.
Yes.
There's a saying that hurt people.
Yes.
So we went out into the streets and we became exactly what those movies titled us, menace to our society. And, it started off with petty theft, jumping people and stuff like that. And it graduated. The more involved in the game we became, the more ruthless we became in our society. It became a badge of honor. And those elders who we associated with, they promoted this. They wanted this. They encouraged this because it made them look tougher. It made them look strong. And so, sure enough, at the age of 16, I found myself committing crimes. But in doing so, I ended up losing my life. I ended up receiving 4 life sentences plus 74 years for the crimes I committed. Yes, I committed them.
And
I
how
am
old were
very
you?
remorseful.
And how old were you?
I was 16 years old.
Go ahead.
And so, and yes, I am very remorseful for what I did. Very. Committing those crimes at the time, as a child, I did not appreciate the magnitude of my actions. For me, I was still in a dark fog, thinking that I was the victim, thinking that it didn't seem real to me. It was almost like a cartoon. When you're a child committing crimes, that's what it feels like. And so during juvenile hall, one of the crimes that I committed was a big gang war. And what happened is that I had that whole gang target me. So I had a green light, if you will. So everybody from that gang would attack me in juvenile hall. And so because all I knew was survival, I responded to the point to where I made the gang want to stop attacking me and talk about it. And then it just became even worse. You start losing yourself in the constant onslaught of violence. Because now you realize that action breeds acceptance. In prison and in jail and in juvenile hall, violence breeds acceptance. And so I began to thrive in that. Well, I ended up getting found unfit in juvenile court and sent to adult court, where I was found guilty and sentenced to 4 life sentences plus 74 years.
Tell us
So
exactly what you did so they know.
I committed 2 murders, 2 attempted murders, and 10 robberies.
Okay.
And so when I was sentenced to adult court at age 17, I was sent to CDCR,
Okay.
to an adult facility. And that was one of the most interesting things of my life, and one of the scariest. It's crazy because we come in here thinking that we're tough. And in that moment of even going through the process of being stripped out, you realize that you're not tough at all. I remember the first thing that they told us, because they break you from the moment that you walk into the prison. They have you in a line, naked, and they tell you a saying. I don't know if I can say that saying, but can I say it?
Yes, you can.
They say nuts to butt. So you're naked next in front of a man, and a man is behind you. And so
Wait,
they
say that
make you
again.
guys,
What did he say? What was it?
the staff calls it nuts to butt.
Gotcha.
So you're standing naked. This is in reception when you're the intake, when you're first coming into prison. They make you strip out completely naked, and you're standing in the line, and you're all scrunched up against each other. So that was the first form of humiliation that I experienced.
Wow.
Then they make you perform a particular type of search where, you raise your hands in front of you, then flip your hands back, then run your hands through your hair, run them through your ears, of course, raise your testicles, turn around. They tell you to squat and cough and spread them. And again, they in that moment, they enforce their authority. They plant into your mind, you are going to be subjected to this for the rest of your life, and you better accept it. And those who didn't want to do that, what they did was they beat them, and then they still subjected them to this type of search. But this time, there were gloves involved, and it was a forceful search that you didn't want. So again, when I came into the system, that in itself was terrifying, but you had to keep a brave face. So when I came into the actual facility and started my program, well, when they finally sent me to High Desert State Prison, we opened up a place called Sea Yard. Sea Yard was one of the most terrifying places I've ever been to. In a state facility. So when you're opening up a prison, everybody is campaigning for real estate. Everybody is wanting to set their claim on some part of the institution. And when a prison is being built up from the floor up, it's the most dangerous because that's where wars kick off. There were so many wars that kicked off there for some of the most pettiest of things. Now, let me tell you about a war that I was in. A Black and Hispanic had a disagreement. And because of that disagreement, they decided the next day they were going to talk to each other, which was not going to be a talk. And the yard erupted. When the yard erupted, all I saw was knives everywhere. Everyone stabbing everybody. But it wasn't just that part that terrified me. And here it is, I'm fighting for my life. What really terrified me was you had staff throwing the bombs. You had staff spraying gas. You had some staff hitting you with batons. You had other staff in the tower shooting 47 millimeter block guns. But then you also had staff shooting the Mini 14. So we have all this happening all at the same time. I'm seeing bodies just fall. And it was crazy to me because I never knew when a bullet would have my name on it.
Wait, this is in jail?
This is in prison.
This is in prison. Where did they get the knives?
Well, we make our own knives.
Okay.
So I know it's amazing how things happen. I can't explain that. I can't go into details.
Don't.
Yes.
Yes.
But we have too much time on our hands,
Okay.
simply put. And It turned into a situation that I wish never happened, and so a lot of people were hurt, and that was like an every week occurrence, if you will, at one point. You know, when I first came into prison, one of the first things they taught me was weaponry. You had to learn how to make knives out of anything, which was crazy because now you get into this MacGyver mentality where you're making knives out of Kool Aid and paper, and so we had to become ruthless and barbaric in order to survive. Um, because of that, I ended up falling down the same path as everyone else that were young, in the system, you know, fighting everybody, dealing with the booty bandits that were in prison trying to rape the young men, dealing with so much. And so I ended up spending 17 years in solitary confinement.
Oh,
And that became the real journey of my life. So when I spent 17 years of solitary confinement straight, what happened was that that's when God began to work. I think that he knew he couldn't put his hold on me until I slowed down, until I was forced to slow down.
okay. Question again. Sometimes I might jump
Okay,
in with something. So,
absolutely.
solitary confinement, we've all heard of it.
Hmm.
Do they bring you your meals? Like you do not see any other people at all for all that time, or are you out at all?
Okay, so in some places there's you don't see anybody. In other places you do see people. So what happens is that they do bring you your food. At one time they had a thing called a group yard. And with the group yard, everybody that's in solitary confinement that are approved for the group yard would be able to go out to the group yard,
Gotcha.
and so I haven't even gotten to the gladiator fights. Oh my God. So they used to bet against us in the gladiator fights,
Mm.
and I was one of the individuals they used to bet on. Back then, before I had my hair, they was calling me Mike Tyson. Then when I had my hair with my dreads, they were calling me Lennox Lewis. And sometimes they'll put 5 people against one, sometimes 3 people against one, sometimes one on one. You never know what you was going to get. It was a very terrifying thing, and they would bet on you. And if you lose their money, you will be subjected to some of the coldest things. So you had to fight and you had to show out.
Okay.
And they would go back to the tapes, and you'll hear them in the rotunda as you're getting processed, and laughing and clapping and everything else. It was a cold situation, just like the streets had gangs, so does the correctional officers. They had gangs like Greenwall, the Hogs, the Sharks, and they were a very terrifying gang because they were a gang with a badge that could get away with anything, and so that was very terrifying. But let's go back to as far as um, there was still certain types of interactions. Sometimes you could get a cellie, but majority of the time you were by yourself. And when you're sitting in those 4 walls and the food is being brought to you, so mind you, if you've gotten into it with the staff, that's a whole nother thing in itself. Because now, if they're mad at you, they're going to mess with your food.
Oh
So you
man.
don't know if you're going to be poisoned.
Oh
You
my
don't know if you're going to
gosh.
have drugs in your food and you're hallucinating in your cell. You don't know if you're going to even get your meal. There was a thing that they used to call a single cell sandwich, where the staff would ejaculate on your bread and give it to you and you'll eat it. Then they'll come to you and tell you, how did you like the single cell sandwich?
Oh my
These are the
gosh.
things that we had to put up with.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
yes. And so these are the things that we had to put up with. And you had to learn how to deal with these psychological warfares and the physical, because if you didn't, then you're going to break. I've been beaten handcuffed so many times. My body aches, especially when it's cold. I've been an individual, like I said, I was a warrior. I fought with staff many times. I had to. If you ever get into it with the staff one time, there's a chain, a pattern that happens to you. And until it runs its course, you're going to have to endure. As I said, they were like a gang back then. So during my time in solitary confinement, these various earth angels protected me. Oh my God, those moments when I came to the brink of just breaking, all of a sudden someone would yell down, "Hey, I got a book for you." And they would give me the right book at the right time. Someone else will say, "Hey, write an essay. I want you to write about this." And I would do it. I had nothing else to do. Someone else would say, "Study." At the same time, my mother, she's sending me letters saying, "Keep writing, keep writing, keep writing." And she became my hope. She became my guiding star, my northern star. She led me. To be honest with you, my mother was the truth. She came into the picture and refused to let go. As she told me, "I'm going to love you more than you love yourself, because right now you don't love yourself. You're allowing too many things to distract you, and it seems like this world has become your life, and it's not your life." And God touched her to say that to me. And at the time, I didn't understand what she was saying. It wasn't until I began to really develop and I began to just really find my way, started to obtain knowledge of self, that I actually really appreciated the things she was saying and the things everybody else was saying. My life was kind of like that movie, The Last Dragon, where everybody's telling him that he's the master, that he is the truth, he is the chosen one. Yet he never knew. He went around looking for the master. The whole time he had attained the truth, that glow within. And it took him going through a huge struggle in order to find his glow. And so for myself, it took me a long while to find my own inner glow and fight the devil. And sure enough, that's what I've been doing ever since. So during my time in solitary confinement, I got educated. So I ended up getting my degree in communication, liberal arts. I graduated cum laude in psychology. I earned my doctorate in theology. I earned my business certificate from Baylor University. I earned my certificate in practice appraisal and principal in real estate. I began writing books and publishing books while I was in solitary confinement. Um, I began to start my own business back there. My first business in solitary confinement was stamps. I would collect people's stamps. I would sell coffee, collect their stamps. And I had a family member who, as long as I sent her a whole book of stamps, she would refund that money. So I was able to make my own income. I employed two other individuals from different prisons. And so we would all collect 30 books of stamps every 3 months. Every 3 months. And after every 3 months, after we collect those 30 books of stamps, we all send them out. I get paid, then they get paid, then the next one, then my cousin. And it was just perfect. That was my first business.
Hold on.
And
Wait.
and
Hold on.
okay.
Wait, real quick. So people are probably thinking, I didn't know you were allowed to do this in prison.
Mm. As far as what, collect stamps?
Working, collect stamps, a business, any of that. Even getting
Well, I mean,
degrees.
so you can get your degrees.
Okay.
Education is now one of the most popular thing in prison.
Okay.
But I was going through correspondence, and I refused to give up on my life. I got tired of being the same person.
Okay.
When you fight for yourself, you make a way. You find a way to develop yourself. You find a way to just you find a way to rebuild.
Okay.
And I had to rebuild. I was somebody that I didn't appreciate. There's a saying that when you look in the mirror, if you don't like what you see, change that image.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I had to change that image. And so I put in the work to attain what was rightfully mine. And I say it, I don't want to come off as arrogant or cocky. I just know what God put inside of me.
Right.
He knew that I was meant for something more and better.
That's right.
He knew that my testimony would change someone's life, and that's what I'm here for. I had to go through the hardships so that no youngster can come to me and tell me, "Well, you don't know what I've been through." Well, no, that's where you're wrong. I went through worse so that you don't never have to go through what I went through. A lot of these young kings and that's in here, they don't have to go through a lot of stuff that I went through because now they have me to teach them and show them the right way. And that's what it's all about. So by the time I got out of solitary confinement, um, when I got out of solitary confinement, it was a huge culture shock because when I first went in, the drug epidemic wasn't as strong. So what it was specifically blacks, we weren't allowed to use hard drugs. We could smoke weed and stuff like that, drink, but we were not allowed to use hard drugs. Well, when I got out, all I saw was a bunch of these kids strung out on everything from heroin to meth to spice. It blew my mind. I didn't understand. It took me to a place of bewilderment. It broke my heart. All I wanted to do was hug these young kings and be like, and then shake them, like, wake up. Because that's the last thing I wanted to see. And, unfortunately, that's become the environment. And so I had to ask myself, what can I do to inspire these young men, even though they're caught in this psychosis? The best thing I knew is to be my best self because I can't tell them to change and then they don't see a change in me. I can't say, hey, do this, and I'm a contradiction of that because my actions don't show what I'm saying. No one's going to listen to that. So I said, you know what? I'm going to lead by example. Everyone knows me here. I'm the individual that hugs everybody from every race. I'm the individual who calls everybody king, and I get responded with that, hey, king. I'm the individual who, if someone's hungry down the tier, I don't care what race you are, you're going to eat because you're not going to go hungry. And so you have to lead by example. And that's just what I've been doing. Fortunately, I began to, well, soon after I began to just take the steps to build my own empire. So I ended up becoming CEO of Skrilla Gorilla West.
Okay.
That is a marketing branding company. We are marketing. Well, we are artist development as well as a business development company that has soared. I'm an off branch of Skrilla Gorilla, and so we've actually taken over the West Coast when it comes to just branding and promoting and so not only that, I'm a club promoter. I'm a boxing promoter. I'm a musician. I've worked with artists like Snoop Dogg, Exhibit, Sean Kingston, Rick Ross. I've actually made music from where I'm at and connected with these artists.
Eminem?
Not Eminem yet, but
Okay.
it's funny that you say that.
Okay.
Because I actually have a track with Eminem
Yep.
that I haven't
know.
put together yet.
Yay.
But no, this is funny that you say that. I don't know how you do.
Yep.
That's scary.
Okay, I knew it, baby. Go ahead.
Yep. But what else? And I'm actually a popular artist to the point to where now I have celebrities shouting me out, "Free me," And so it's more of a revolution because they understand that I speak the truth and I live the truth.
Okay, now
What I
wait.
didn't tell you is that
Okay, go
out of
ahead.
my 17 years in solitary confinement, there were other brothers that were subjected to long-term solitary confinement who had spent 30 years and 40 years. And so we came together and we fought to get ourselves out of there.
Okay.
And so because we have fought to get ourselves up out of there, pretty soon we should be getting nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize.
That's
That is
incredible.
coming. That's coming pretty soon. So I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, hold that thought. First of all, that's
Okay.
incredible. Congratulations. Oh my
Thank you.
gosh. We're
Thank
going to
you.
give everybody a treat right now because I have
Okay.
some of your music. So, all right, producer, let's play one of his songs and then you're going to talk about this song, okay? We've
Okay.
got 3
Okay.
songs we're going to be playing today. Here we go.
Okay.
Oh, might seem different, but it's still there. God is doing great things, baby. He'll take care of you all. He'll protect you all these years. He'll keep you all these years.
It's true. That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
We're gonna pray this out. I want to get my prayer before I leave.
Okay. Mighty God, as we come before thee right now, we know that you are the answer, and we know that nothing too hard for you. And God, look on my grandson, because you are able to touch. Give him strength today. Encourage his heart. In you, God, we live, we move, and have our being. In you is life. In you is joy. In you is peace. In you are in the Holy Ghost.
Dear mama, I got something to tell you. You never failed, girl. I failed you. All the stress is at these jails. I know you wishing you could excel too. To the crosses where they nail me. It's unhealthy for a relationship. Been in jail all these years. I just want to thank you for your patience. It's real blatant if your Satan gets his way. We praying day to day. You and Granny just put it in God's hands and let him pave the way. We prayed and prayed the Lord. Let us see the day they raise the gate. 27 years of torture. Of course, I'm trying to escape the hate. Some can't relate, but how could? Ever since my childhood, I was raised up in a wild hood. Never thought I'd come out good. Deep within my soul, I got something to tell you. I know you did your best to raise me, mom. You didn't fail me, angel. I failed you. Mama, I apologize for all the pain I brought you. And mama, I apologize for any tears I brought to your eyes. Mama, I apologize for all the pain I brought you. And mama, I apologize for the tears brought to your eyes. I said, dear mama, I apologize for all the drama. Brought you nothing but shame and dishonor. Wish daddy wore a condom. Then that sucker would have never had a chance to hit me or you. It turned me to a monster. That's why I was in the street wars. You were always my saving grace. Your prayers paved the way. I took a shot and made it like a Steph Curry fade away. I swear to God, I hate to say that daddy was a blatant gay. He kept it from you, mama. So when you were there, he played it safe. Been caged away for 27 years, right after they tried me. When everybody left, you stayed right there beside me. Never did deprive me, stuck with me like an ivy. When everybody else love turned fishy like a Pisces. As nice as I can say, shicey how they played it. Mama, your love is the only one that never had me waiting. As nice as I can say it, shicey how they played it. Mama, your love is the only one that never had me waiting.
It's different, but it's still there. God is doing great things, baby. He'll take care of you all. He'll protect you all these years. He'll keep you all these years.
True. That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
We're gonna pray this out. I want to get my prayer before I leave.
Okay. Mighty God, as we come before thee right now, we know that you are the answer, and we know that nothing too hard for you. And God, look on my grandson, because you are able to touch. Give him strength today. Encourage his heart. In you, God, we live, we move, and have our being. In you is life. In you is joy. In you is peace. In you are in the Holy Ghost.
Come on, man. Tell us about this song.
Okay, so that song right there was really a real personal song. I wrote that a few years back. And, you know, I needed to shout out my angel. She's one of my earth angels, man. My mother, you know, my granny, you know, they were there for me, you know, and, you know, a lot of individuals, they believe that, you know, them joining the gang, you know, that's the family that they need. Not at all. Because when you get locked up, you know, the people that's going to be there is your family, the same people that you hurt and traumatized because of the ripple effect in which you did, because of your actions. You know, they're the ones that's going to be there, regardless, loving you unconditionally. Those individuals that you profess as your homies, once you're out of sight, you're out of mind. You know, and so I needed to shout out my queen. You know, and my angel, my mom, she's my queen. You know, and so, and I wanted to tell the world our story without, you know, being too detail specific, you know, but I let the world know this was our truth. We went through the struggles of life. We, you know, experienced the trials and tribulations, and we came out hard. We came out stronger. We came out focused, you know, and, you know, again, I just wanted to just honor her, you know, and also put out the demon out there. because a lot of people didn't know that my father was who he was, and so, you know, everyone always said great things about him, and they didn't know what we endured. They didn't know about my mother being beat on a regular basis. It's one of the worst things to watch your mother get beat. I see this man punching her in her face and she's crying and you hear her screams and you're running in there trying to protect her and then he beats you. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the worst experience. And I felt so helpless. When I went out into the streets, I wanted to be somebody that was a savior, but I was the wrong type of savior. I was a savior for the wrong reasons. I didn't know how to be, and the crazy thing about it is I never wanted to be my father. I never wanted to be my father. But the crazy thing about it is that I did end up becoming him in the beginning because the same type of behavior of him beating on my mother and professing to love her, I was the same type of individual who would, cause havoc in my community, destroy my community, but yet proclaim that I love my community. And when I realized that, it was so devastating because I said to myself, what am I doing? What have I done? And can I be forgiven? And that was something that really haunted me for a very long time. It's crazy because when you come to this environment, well, in the beginning, when I first came into this environment, I deserved the sentence that was given to me. I did. I was a person that was lost and I was sick. But
You
the
were
man that
also
I
a
am today,
child. You were also a
Thank you.
child to me. Continue.
Thank you. Thank you. But the man that I am today, I don't believe the man deserved the sentence because I am not the child. I would never repeat the child mistakes. I would never do what the child had done. And to me, the child repulses me. The child frightens me. He makes me wonder, what did you have to go through to think that this was okay? And I understand now, and I forgive the child.
And feel bad for
But
the child, please.
and feel bad for the child.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's now two people serving a sentence.
Okay.
One that would never commit the crimes and one that did.
So I want to say something. I want to tell you a couple little things. You were talking about how you heard God's voice about writing.
Mhm.
I was woken up in the middle of the night. I felt this. I opened my eyes, 2016, and I hear, write your book. I
Mm.
giggled and I said, okay, Lord, you want me to write my book? Write your book. I wrote this book in 2016, not knowing why. It took me only 3 weeks, so God wrote this book. Nobody's going to tell me God did not write this book. It was
I know that's right.
it was half the size. I revised it in 2020.
Wow.
I didn't know why, but it was to save a family member's life.
Mm.
My book was published by Simon & Schuster. My friend who got it on the computer for me said, we're going to send it to 20 publishers. They may like it, they may not. It could take years. I said, no, I heard Simon & Schuster. A woman calls me in 5 days from Simon & Schuster. I know she was a Christian woman. She said, we love your book and we're publishing it. I didn't know this, but this was meant for a family member. My book was out in a couple of months, save a family member's life. So God
Wow.
did that. All right, so I
Wow.
listen to those voices as well. Okay?
Amen.
And
Amen. Let me show you something.
yep, show me.
So I always remember stuff. These were the first books that I wrote.
Because you've written 12, right? Or more?
No. As of this week, it's going to be 15.
15. Okay, cool.
Okay. But these were my first books that I wrote. It was my children's books, Sugar for My Granny.
Okay.
And the reason why I wrote these particular books is because I wanted to honor my granny. Her and I, we have this saying to each other. She always says to all the grandkids, sugar for my granny. And we reply, too sweet for the mama. And so that's always been our saying. And so this is Sugar for the Granny, Grandparents' Day in September. These books right here are now officially out of print, but you can still see them on Amazon on the on the Amazon page. This book right here, this book is called Mental Martial Arts.
Crazy.
I wrote this book because I wanted to share with people, a different understanding of their own power. God is in the understanding. God is in the knowledge of self. In Proverbs chapter 2, it says, if thou seekest in silver and searchest for hidden treasure, then shall I understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. Treasure in silver is the wisdom, the knowledge and experience. And so because once you understand who you are, you gain a new insight about self. You gain a new emotional intelligence, a new clarity, and you then know how to navigate the world in a different way. And so I had to put together this book right here. This is called Mental Martial Arts.
It's amazing.
This book right here is called You Are One of One by myself and Tanika Twix Mix Allen. And we wanted to just share the wealth of love to the world, let them know that they're special and that they matter and that they're relevant and that they should never minimize themselves, because the world is so dark these days. People are so depressed. And I'm tired of seeing them depressed. We were tired of seeing them depressed. So we just want to give them some type of hope.
So,
this book right here is called The Magic of Celebrating Autism Through Articulate Expression. This is by myself and Renee Penix Alexander, which is my cousin. And we wrote this book. This book has a number of stories in it of people who have autism and people or animals or characters that have autism and have overcome the challenges of their autism, turning their disability into an ability, their tragic into a triumph. And so it's a beautiful piece. This book right here is called The Foundational Steps of Divine Wisdom and Purpose. This is a spiritual book. This is with myself and Colin Randolph. Colin Randolph is a friend of mine that's also incarcerated, and he will be coming home soon. Him and I have had a bond since we were kids, and we shared pretty much the same experience. And we both transformed ourselves around the same time.
Wow.
And so in this place, him and I are the leaders of positive change. We're a force of positive change. And so I could not pass up on doing a book with this young gentleman who is an amazing scholar, who I would love to have you meet one day.
Yes.
When he's available.
Yes.
Yes.
Dr. Chinchilla is listening. She says hello.
Okay.
So
hello, Doctor.
Yep. I want to let everyone know she has a show, News Forum, The Queen of Justice, Be a Voice. Okay, Sundays at 9:30 on WBNN, guys. Okay, go to her Facebook page, Chinchilla Jonicia. All right, amazing, and she's our connection, and she helps free prisoners that were wrongly put in jail. Right?
Yes.
Okay, she's amazing,
yes.
And she is our connection.
Yes, she is. She is an extraordinary person. Her and Dr. O.
Yeah. Brother O. He's the producer. Yes.
Hands down, all of you guys, from your production to yourself, all of you guys are amazing. And I appreciate you guys for just, to be honest with you, for loving me enough to give me this opportunity. So thank you.
Before I play your next song, I want to say this to you about the little boy. That little boy. Not only do you need to love that little boy, you need to forgive that little boy and understand what that little boy went through. And he, Saul murdered the Christians. Okay? He is now Paul. Jesus even changed his name. Okay? So that little boy needs love. I'm just saying that. Okay? I can't imagine. Okay? Producer, let's play our second song and then we'll have LADARO talk about it.
Government and take a young black man's life as a teenager. Say you can't be rehabilitated.
Don't be well.
Crazy.
Don't be well.
I don't care about us. Monster, yo, what up? Big crazy.
I've been in this jail cell for too long. Came in as a pup, now I'm full grown. Yes, I made mistakes, but I'm praying every day that these youngins don't make the same mistake. 27 years, no wife and no kids. My own family left me in here for dead.
Jail cells with kites flying, living a lifeline. I fight lines with two suits, the kid with that light mind. Taking the charge from the little homie, they ran up for the nighttime. My nice grind, 7-0, came off the dice flying. They snitching, gave me up, like they my gruck and bite crime. My life down, my family left me in it for dead. The same ones that stole from me, it's the ones that I feared to. I trade through the trenches with the sentence of life. Getting killers every day, trying to find out who night. Pick up my right quick, bet you find out when I buy it. This shit top, this shit all down on their pockets. I'm the topic of the door, really go. It was foul. I want to get to talk about on their way to the chow hall. No smiles while I already got 2 strikes, hit a foul ball. Damn.
I've been in this jail cell for too long. Came in as a pup, now I'm full grown. Yes, I made mistakes, but I'm praying every day that these youngins don't make the same mistake. 27 years, no wife and no kids. My own family left me in here for dead.
You told you gotta grow up. You know what? It ain't been a grind. I didn't show up. Knocking pigs down, watching other clowns hoe up. They go up every day in this is active here. Over 20 years since 16. Been trapped in here. Never been a sucker and Russia bluster like Vladimir. Seen go home 2 months, right back in here. Stop acting weird. Trying to teach the little homies about a lesson. 17 years in the shoe. It got me out here stressing. It's been a blessing. Now I'm recognized as a vet. A word from the sponsor though. This a monster, yo, lesson. This I gotta throw. Catch a game from the 4-yard. Be nice to think twice. You'll catch life for trying to go hard. Be nice to think twice. You'll catch life for trying to go hard.
I've been in this jail cell for too long. Came in as a pup, now I'm full grown. Yes, I made mistakes, but I'm praying every day that these youngins don't make the same mistake. 27 years, no wife and no kids. My own family left me in here for dead.
Baby, tell us about this song.
So that song right there, that's the raw and uncut life that I lived in here. It's the raw and uncut life. You know, it's crazy because I felt so alone when I first started. And, you know, when you feel alone in this type of environment, you get numb. And when you don't have anyone, you give up. You just give up. And so that was my life in here for the longest time, you know. And then not just that, just going through the struggles of the life in here. I wanted to share my message. I wanted to give these youngsters my tell. So you got to understand this, that, you know, youngsters will only be receptive to individuals that they can relate to.
Yes.
And they will only respect who they relate to.
Yes.
The way my music is my goal is to talk their language, and then when they come talk to me, get wisdom, get the raw and uncut. You know, my goal is to bring people to Christ.
That's right.
And so, in order to do that, you have to change your technique and how you approach these youngsters, because these youngsters, they don't feel safe with Christ anymore. They don't feel safe with the message or from the messenger. And so, again, my whole purpose is get these young kings and queens to relate to me. And then once they come to me for this wisdom, oh my God, I'm going to bless them. Well, not just a testimony, but a message that's going to change their life.
Well, I want to say something. Chinchilla just messaged me, and I want to share this. All right.
Okay.
She also is an advocate to help juvenile lifers, such as LADARO, get out of prison as well. And she is doing it. She is amazing with what she does. okay? And she's amazing. But before you continue, God's laying this on my heart. I'm going to read 2 small poems out of my book, okay? That's going to resonate with some things you were saying, all right? The first one is called Put Down the Gun. So if anybody out there is struggling and thinking of suicide, please listen to every word of this poem, okay? I had to have this purple gun just in case my life was done. I kept it safe locked in my room because I was filled with gloom and doom. Yes, there were times that I just knew if I loaded it up what I could do. But I kept on hearing that gentle voice, put down that gun. You have that choice. Life may seem hard at the end of the day, but that's when you need to really pray. Dear Father, I beg you to show me the truth. How can life be so bad when I'm only a youth? Get rid of that gun and go take a shower. Ask someone for help. You do have that power. You have that power, every one of you. Now, change your choice. I wrote this poem because I had to make that choice 34 years ago to change. Okay? We can change. You are not powerless, not over anything if you have God with you. So listen to every word of this poem. I had a life-changing moment that I knew had to be. The only way to change things was to first start with me. So I looked in the mirror and woke up one day and thought to myself I needed to pray. So I asked God to change me, to help me stay strong, to clean up my mess, to right what's been wrong. I cleaned up my diet. I cleaned up my room. I cleaned up old habits with this dirty broom. I kept going forward and never looked back. I refused to derail, stayed on the right track. I realized my worth and all that did matter through my selfish behavior, the lives I had shattered. I finally decided at 30 years old to stop abusing my body, my mind, heart, and soul. My life-changing choice that I had once made, going on 34 years now, guys, my debt has been paid. So you read all my thoughts on how to stay clean. It's all or nothing, my friend. There's no in between. To live or to die is a choice you must make. Your life is not worthless and you're not a mistake. One day at a time is the slogan you've heard. It works if you work it while applying his word. For you to get healthy, for your mind not to fail, escaping reality will keep you in jail. With addictive behavior, sex, drugs, food, or money, substituting addictions, now isn't that funny? I'm not an addict, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. May the good Lord guide and bless you. I just felt like God put that on my heart. I had to read it at that time.
Thank you. It's a beautiful poem, both of them. My goodness. I like that. The first one really it really hit home.
Okay.
And that second one I really liked. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Geri.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit more. Wait, you know what? Let's play your third song.
Okay.
And then you'll talk about the third song, and then we'll have you.
Okay.
Okay. Let's play it.
Main rocker, I drop a top shot, I kept a score high. Keep a few 4-5, same color as fluoride. Took an oath and swore I'd drop dead before I snitch. I'm stitch lip if I gotta sit for 4 lives. Used to run up in them homes like they mama cut on a porch light. Living room full of hostages on top of shit just like a horsefly. Must have been a gunner. Every summer I got them scorched like. Trying to keep this score high with features in the source like CEO of Skrilla Gorilla West with my nigga Lord Day. They hear me spit it serious and mysterious the way the Lord paid. And tours from court day. Players in my club like Forte. Excited, I'm enlightened. It was nighted before the sword raised. More phase, but no pain. I kept on to grow game. Was slept on, pressed on, and stepped on like cocaine. Ignite mics, propane. They said I was a monument. Cause I'm trapped in stone, but rap on phones exuding prominence. And I'm a spitter style that's good. Coming from the water's hood. A match made in heaven, cub when hell was just a pile of wood. Proof, look at Snoop, he run the road now without the shoot. Each movement, we proving shit to niggas that would doubt we could.
Keep my head to the sky. Spread my wings so I can fly. So way up high. I keep it real, I can never live a lie. Lord knows I try to live a righteous life until the day I die. I speak the truth, I can never live a
Time is
lie.
ticking away and I see technology surpassing humanity, and they demanded me to stop all my violent insanity. But I plan to be original. rich man with diamond wristbands, designing big plans, watching my rhyming expand to a higher plateau, so I can admire that hoe. Gonna let them tires rattle, cause they all desire cash flow. But oh no, I ain't spoke code, I'm on a whole nother page. Creeper when I load up the gauges, deeper than the holes of the grave. So partner, fold up your paper as I make this whole damn stage collapse. Scrap with all you zesty ass suckers and haters flat. I scrape the max off Jackson ice, make scratch off cracking dice. At night, my criminal activity attract the vice. But niggas wanna get rid of me, I hope to send me to my afterlife. Hoping I'll be weak, but I'm from the beach and I ain't acting right. Take heed to these raps I write, I flow with wisdom. Through the solar system, telling all y'all soldiers, listen. Soldiers, listen.
Keep my head to the sky. Spread my wings so I can fly. So way up high. I keep it real, I can never, never lie. Lord knows I try to live a righteous life until the day I die. I speak the truth, I can never live a lie. I can never live a lie.
Come on, let's hear it, baby.
Okay, so first I want to say this. Shout out to Cocaine. Shout out to Cocaine. He's a legendary artist that's had the most features of all time. Has the most features of all time. He's an amazing talent. He was with Rufus Record with Eazy-E at one time. And so when he graced me with this track, he just said, you know what? I need you to bring your heart and soul to this. He says, I believe in your movement. I believe in you. So tell your story. He says, this is your opportunity. And so I sat there and I looked into the distance and I was looking out my window and I just started seeing my whole life flash before my eyes. And it's crazy because a tear started welling up in my eye.
Oh.
And I could feel it. I could really feel it. The way you wrote that poem in no seconds flat because God talked to you, the way you wrote the book was the same way.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I just started talking to myself, then talking to these young kids, because my whole purpose is to save these young kids. That's it. I do not want them to repeat what I have endured. And the way that you do that is to tell your testimony.
Yep.
And so again, it starts off in the beginning. It starts off raw. I used to be like this. And now who I am, I'm featured in the source. See, I'm speaking the truth. I am the source. You know, I am a CEO of Skrilla Gorilla West. You know, I have changed my life for the better for a reason. Because change is not only good, it is you doing God's work. It is you focusing on being a better person to all of humanity. My life is about active service. I am committed to that active service. And my whole, everything that I say, everything that I do, it's just about just saving these kids, man. I just don't want them to fall in my footsteps.
Well, I want to share a couple things with you.
Okay.
Okay, so you know who Ricardo Richard is.
Yes.
Okay, so he lives here in Trenton, New Jersey. And
Okay.
he reached out to me in the middle of the night. The story's out there. He was at a bar, drunk outside. I didn't know him. He didn't know me. Saw me on Facebook. God said, listen to him. Okay? And now, look at what he's done with this documentary, Hurt People, Hurt People. And he named his book, because of me, Heal People, Heal People. I told him he had to. And look at what he's doing with his life.
Right.
We love you, Ricardo. Now, there's another young man who used to live in Trenton, New Jersey. He reached out to me in 2016 or 17 and on Facebook, and he said, Miss Geri, he said, I'm a hip-hop artist, and I'd love to get on your show. You know, I'm just starting out. And I said, can you keep it clean, young man? And he said, absolutely. Came in the studio with a few other young black gentlemen, hip-hop artists, and they kept it clean. And he's incredible. He stole a piece of my heart that day. He now goes by Six Director, SIX Director.
Wow.
He lives
Okay.
down south. He's got a family. He does photography, recording, everything. And he's actually surprised me when he came to see family. And he also will message me every once in a while, and he'll say, Miss Geri, I'm trying to keep it clean, but this is what I want to tell you he told me on air. I said to him, why does there have to be so much profanity and violence with most hip-hop and rap, right? And he said these words, you're going to love this. And he was a young man in his 20s. He said, Miss Geri, everybody has a story to tell and it needs to be told. But unfortunately for some of us, this is the only story we know. I don't listen to it, but I get it now. I understand. And, you know, having you talk about everything you're talking about here as well is so, it's so incredible for me, because we're reaching so many souls right now, so many young people, because you know, the average person can't go up to a drug addict in the street and say, stop doing drugs if they didn't do drugs. God's
Right.
using me as well, because, right, I can help drug addicts. Okay?
Absolutely.
That's our purpose. So this is what I want to say to you. God saved your life the day he put you behind bars. God saved your life, because you wouldn't be here today. You know that as well as
Facts.
me.
Facts.
Okay? And he saved your life for a reason, so that you can now save young people's lives who are doing the same things.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Amazing.
You're speaking my truth.
Amazing.
I feel that. I feel that every day, you know, and this journey has only just begun. You know, I can't wait till this prison life is over
Yep.
and I start my new life,
Yep.
you know, and because I'm already the CEO of my new life, but to start the new life outside of prison, it's going to be a blessing.
About when do you think that could happen?
I'm going to say no comment.
Okay, no comment, because we know it could be happening, baby. You know it could be happening.
Amen.
No comment, but it
Amen.
could be happening.
Amen.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So we have a few more minutes.
Okay.
I want to, first of all, I want to thank you for honoring me and Hamilton Radio for this platform.
Absolutely.
Having you. Listen, you honored me. I wanted to do this interview so bad. God just put it on me, like, you have to talk to him. Okay, and I thank you, God, for that. I know this interview has helped so many people. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now,
Thank you.
I want to give you the platform for a few more minutes. I want you to encourage young people that are listening. And and if there's anything else you wanted to share, the platform is yours.
Okay. So what I want to say is this, is that your life matters. Your life matters. I know that the world seems so bleak and overwhelming. I know that it seems like no one else understands. It seems like you're utterly alone, but you're not. Your life matters. Do not forget that beyond the present moment, there's a future waiting for you. There's a future you waiting for you. And the choices that you make today can affect the future you of tomorrow. Do not give up on yourself today and fail that future you, because that future you is extraordinary. That future you has experienced so many beautiful things in life. It knows his or her potential, and they're rising and they're shining and they're smiling, not just with their mouth, but with their hearts. Understand that you matter. Don't give up on yourself today. Understand that you're loved. I love you. Geri loves you. The world loves you. Fight for yourself the way that you fight for everything else. Give the future you a chance to spread their wings and fly. That's my message.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Absolutely.
Everybody, please, please share this video. I already know it's touched so many people right now already, and it needs to touch a lot more. So again, a shout out to Dr. Chinchilla for introducing us, for everything she's doing. We love you, girl. Shout out
Amen.
to Brother O from
Brother O.
Beverly Nation, man, WBNN. It was because of him, I know it, that I got noticed for the Hall of Fame.
Wow.
Okay, absolutely. What he does also every single night, it's unbelievable. A shout out to Hamilton Radio. They started my journey on radio. Shout out to Ruben for this incredible production today. And listen, I just want to thank God from the bottom of my heart as well for allowing me to hear you that night when he said, call him.
Amen.
So I'm done with everything I have to say. LADARO, thank you again.
Thank you.
This isn't over. This isn't over.
Amen.
All right?
We got this.
We got this.
We're going to change the world.
That's right.
And that's a fact.
Producer, take us out.
Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do.
Just what to do, just what to do.
If what you're feeling is really true.
Is it really true? Is it really true?
Just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.